All right, everyone. There was a weird post on the Daily Beast earlier where it was talking about Trump basically abandoning gay people in Chechnya, like not doing anything about the fact that Russia's anti-gay laws and sort of a little bit of homophobia, I think, in the Chechen culture there, specifically because of religious reasons, it has been overlooked by the U.S. administration, and this is a big problem. Now, I looked at this and I said, yeah, I support, like, gay rights and stuff. It is, I don't like to see people abused because I'm a libertarian. I personally, for instance, don't care what people do in their bedroom. I don't really care who they screw, how they screw them, or as long as it's all consensual and above board and, and stuff, I don't really care. That being said, though, this is selective outrage at the highest possible level. The Daily Beast is far left, like liberal partisan, not just like, oh, my left-wing media. I mean, like, literally left. They don't have any problem, apparently. They didn't have a problem with Obama never saying anything about the Saudi Arabian government's feelings about homosexuals. In Chechnya, if you're gay in Chechnya, you can have certainly some significant problems. Meanwhile, gay people are being tossed off buildings, not by like ISIS or a fascist movement in the Middle East, but just by governments themselves. They're repeatedly abused. You have certainly, I think it's Indonesia, Malaysia, some of these other countries ban it. Maybe not being gay, but gay behavior, and will kill people for it, or beat them, or imprison them. You have all sorts of crazy shit that happens. And meanwhile, only in Chechnya does the Daily Beast actually appear to give a damn. And the reason why is it's part of Russia. The reason why is because they want to say, well, Putin the homophobe, and Trump's in cahoots with him, like he's like collusion, and so he doesn't say anything about it. But Obama never said anything about it. It's not like this is a new thing. It's mainly cultural. It's just that Putin finally codified some of it in Russian law, and so it's more acted upon. But I mean, the homophobia was already present. And it's like it was much more limited, and presumably in many cases still is, than what you see in many countries that are open allies of the U.S., that the Democrats and the Republicans both love, and that in many cases the Democrats love more, like the Saudi regime. Trump has actually bothered to criticize them and withdrawn U.S. support for their involvement in Yemen. Huh, yeah, that happened before. No, Obama was too busy bombing Yemenis. And meanwhile, then you also have that other issue of, well, why does this one group, abuse against them matters more than others? It's like women are abused in many parts of the world. Religious minorities of all potential types. You have an Islamic minority in a major Christian country. Christian minority in an Islamic country. You have some Zoroastrians in a Hindu country. Stuff like that happens, people get abused, and it's like the Daily Beast is just using this opportunistically. This is my biggest beef with the left on wedge issues. They're using it for a cheap shot at Trump. They don't actually care about the fact that people are being abused. If they did, they would have been talking about it continuously. And if it was about homosexuals specifically being abused anywhere, they'd be talking about a bunch of other countries. Instead, I've heard very little criticism of even far-left administrations and figures for saying little to nothing, and usually the latter, about this issue when it comes to nations that they've partnered with. Or you look at Iran. Yes, being gay in Iran, I'm sure that it's a sunny day. It's a fun thing to do. Yet they never want to criticize anyone in the Iranian regime. Because Trump has. He's criticized them so they become a sacred cow. It's a weird situation. People have this weird black and white mentality. They think that it's all or nothing. It's like, no, look at it from a more coherent perspective. Both parties fall short when it comes to human rights in general. I think we've established that for 1,000 fucking years. It's not just the U.S., it's every country for the most part. There are a few enlightened leaders in the world that hold things together tenuously. And there are a lot of hypocrites in these political movements that they're just looking to score a shot. They want to say, oh, well, we Democrats are pro-gay rights. Not that we led the charge on gay rights. Not that we're leading the charge on not having gay people get abused in other parts of the world. We're not actually doing anything, and we haven't. The Libertarians had an openly gay presidential candidate in the 1980s. But we're the ones that did that. Oh, yeah, the president sitting at the time who didn't defend, what was it? Not Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I think it was. Or no, DOMA, Defense of Marriage Act, had been a civil union Democrat, and his last opponent actually opposed even that. You have a Democrat now running that opposes it, and then you have Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg, who opposes marijuana legalization. That's a totally different moral wedge issue that's used. I just hate opportunism and hypocrisy. Don't have double standards. Yeah, it's terrible what happens to people in Chechnya sometimes. The other part is it's very, very funny to see them argue against that and then say, well, all cultures are created equal, everyone's lovely, it doesn't matter what's done. And really, it may be codified in Russian law, but it was already happening, and it's largely a cultural and religious trapping. good luck making that argument. That's about all. Peace out.